out all over the lot, 'cause I'm growing marijuana in my yard.
Hi there, I'm Ross Middleton from BMA Hydroponics. Yeah, it's April 21st, 2020. Just wanted to welcome you to Grow Your Own, our DIY series, and let you know why we're starting so late. As you know, everybody's been running around with these and with masks and things like that, and this whole coronavirus thing has really put a kink in everybody's plans. We've been going gangbusters. We're considered an essential service in the supply chain. So, you know, we've been kind of lucky as far as small businesses go, but we've been opening a new store. We've been doing so many things. We've got so much stuff going on, and honestly, this kind of came at a bad time. So it's delayed everything, basically. I'm just starting my indoor now on April 21st. So, yeah, it's a late start, but nonetheless, I'm going to start. And if you listen to our Talking Grow Your Own YouTube, you'll hear about our plans for this year. Some of them being my first of all, you know, I'm going to be doing Stepwell versus Destiny indoors. That's two living soil organic basically kits that you put together yourself, and we're going to put those head to head, see who wins. So that's going to be really interesting. You know, and I think that it's going to overlap too with our outdoor, and so I'm going to be doing two. I'm going to be doing indoors and outdoors pretty much at the same time, but in the end, it's all going to be really, really cool stuff. I mean, doing the light deprivation thing because of the light pollution and scrogging outdoors is going to be fun, and this whole indoor organic thing is going to be fun. I mean, a lot more people want to grow organically these days, and here's a couple of easy ways to do it. You know, there are other ways to do it if you want to do it yourself, and you can watch our Women Who Grow series on the YouTube channel, and you'll see True Living Organics there, where they make teas and etc., and they do it that way. These ones are like kits, and they're ready made for anybody to use. You don't have to be a scientist to put this one together. So special circumstances, but we're moving on, and things are going to get back to normal, and we're looking forward to it, and I know you are too. So let's move on with the series. Enjoy, sit back, relax. We're going to have a lot of fun.
Okay, let's unbox some products. So first, we're going to look at the Stepwell. Not a lot of unboxing to do here because it didn't come in a box, but Stepwell comes in the compressed bale. That's the soil. It's all ready to go. It's got a ton of stuff in it. It's got sphagnum peat moss. It's got the mycorrhizal beneficial bacteria inoculum, you know, bone meal, blood meal, perlite, kelp meal, fish bone meal. It's wollastonite, worm castings. A lot of good stuff in this soil. So it's got a good nutrient value to it. But as we've sold the stuff, the feedback we've been getting is that all on its own, just using the EM1 and the Stepwell by itself, doesn't quite have enough to get it to the finish line, if you know what I mean. You want those nice, big, fat, heavy, smelly, tasty buds. People started top dressing basically with a little bit of Gaia Green 444 and some Power Bloom from Gaia Green, also in flower. So I think Stepwell took the hint, they got the message, and thank you, Stepwell, for doing that, because now look what we've got here. We've got some top dresses from Stepwell. So we've got the one for the vegetative stage, and we got the other one for the bloom stage. The veg stage, I'm guessing, is probably the equivalent of the Gaia Green 444, and the top dress for the bloom is probably the equivalent of the Power Bloom. I don't know what the NPK is on these. Stepwell didn't put it on the bag. If I had a suggestion to make, I'd say, hey, put the NPK on the bag, because I kind of like to know what it is. But anyway, moving forward, let's look at next at, yeah, Destiny. I already got in here with a hammer. I had to use the claw part of the hammer to get this box open, so be prepared for that if you've got the box set here. So let's opening up the box, and this is literally a box. First off, I see the feeding schedule, so we've got the feeding, so you know exactly when to feed everything. On the back, you've got some info about the different products. So let's have a look at some of these different products. So you've got your launch. So this is the launch. And what they say about the launch is that it's a top dress, and it may provide your plants with macro and micro nutrients from multiple natural sources. And then we have the ignition, Destiny's unique tea blend. So this is going to be to make a tea. We're going to actually feed them with organic tea. That's why I have two different barrels, by the way. We'll get to that later, but I have two different barrels, one for Stepwell and one for Destiny. Next we have the Amplify. So Amplify, that is Destiny's water conditioner that is used to continuously throughout the growing cycle
to bring the pH of the water down to the sweet spot of 6.2 to 6.4. Thank you, Destiny. We agree on that sweet spot. And basically, this is your pH down. Next we've got in here G-Force. Little package of G-Force. So let's see what that does. It's Destiny's foliar. It may provide hormones, trace nutrients, and natural growth stimulants to improve plant viability during the vegetative stage. So, yeah, I'm not a big fan of spraying anything on my plants, especially in flower. This one's meant for veg, so I think I'm okay with that, and we'll give her a go and see what happens. Finally, in the Destiny box, we have this. And this is the soil. So this is actually called dark matter. It's the heart of the Destiny grow system. Begins with dark matter, our pre-fertilized super soil with more than 20 premium ingredients. They say it'll do 4 3-gallon pots. Stepwell recommends that you use a 7. I'm going to show you the pots that I'm going to use and explain why I'm using them. Okay, so let's look at what we're going to be putting all of this fine soil into. Basically, Destiny, they recommend a 3-gallon pot. So basically, I'm going to be using this 3-gallon rhizopot. Root pruning pouch, they do recommend that you use the root pruning pouches. They tend to work better with these organic soils. They breathe better and things like that. So 3-gallon, and it's going to go into, I think that's a 14-inch saucer. And you can see there's just enough room around the edge to see if there's any water coming in there. You don't want to overwater or underwater. That's especially true with these. Next, we got the Stepwell. So the Stepwell, they recommend a 7-gallon pot. I'm assuming when they say pot, they mean a plastic pot. So what I did was I got a 7-gallon plastic pot, and I compared this 5-gallon rhizopot to the 7-gallon plastic pot, and lo and behold, they're about the same size by volume. So this will hold as much as a plastic 7-gallon. So this is what I'm going to use for the Stepwell, and a little bit bigger saucer. I believe that's a 16-incher. So it sits in there again with just enough space around it to be able to see if there's any standing water in there. You don't want standing water. So that's what we got. I'm going to get busy on filling these pots, finishing off the room, and getting this grow started. I'm really excited about it. Hope you are too. So step one in preparation, of course, is to empty out your room, get it ready, prep it. I have not really cleaned real well in here. I'm getting ready to. The linoleum needs to be straightened out a little bit. Growing in some 10-gallon barrels. You can get these 10-gallon barrels at BMA Hydroponics, by the way. They're not too expensive, and they make great reservoirs. Of course, I got 2 because I'm going to be doing Destiny and Stepwell, and they both have different water requirements. So that's why they're going to be separated. You know, got the chalkboard cleaned off from Deb's Ebb and Flow. You may have watched that one. That's also a good episode there. Got to get the lights back up. So I'm going to get to work, and I've got a lot of stuff to do. I want to hang plastic on the wall, clean the floors. Okay, so next step, we're going to sweep the floor. Plastic up, so I'm going to take down the old plastic, and then I'm going to get ready to put up the new plastic, which I'm going to have to bring in here. I had to get this. I had to go to Home Hardware here in my local town, my local Home Hardware. I had to phone ahead. I had to ask for push pins. I had to pick them up outside the building and get cash through with the mask and gloves, and pay $21 for push pins. So. Yeah, there were quite a few packages, but I just wanted to get my push pins and get out. So over $20 for push pins, but that's okay. It all pays off in the end. So these are challenging times, but we're muddling through. Anyway, off we go. I'm going to take the plastic off. Plastic's cut for the first wall. I got my push pins. Gonna get a few together here. Try to hang on to them and put them in my pocket, huh? Got gloves on because pushing push pins in with your bare fingers can sometimes hurt a bit. Right side up. I'm going to try to get this up as high as we can. Line it up. Put in a push pin. And then we're going to go from there. We carry on and do the last piece going up, and I had to make a little cut to go around the ductwork, so I did that ahead of time. So I'm putting it up, and away it goes. got all the black and white plastic up, white side out, so we're all nice and reflective now. Okay, so next on the agenda is to drill my barrels. I'm going to be using 3/4 inch fittings and a top hat grommet. Now, quite often we've recommended a 7/8 inch hole for the top hat grommet for the 3/4 inch. I'm going to use 13/16. I want an extra tight fit. I want to make sure it's not going to leak at all. You don't want any dripping or anything like that indoors. So 13/16, and let's see how that works. Okay, so next comes the grommet. This is what I'm calling a top hat grommet right here. You see it's got a little ring around it, and it kind of looks like a top hat. So basically you're putting that side in with the rim part on the outside. So I'm going to get that right in there. See, that's a nice tight fit. I like a nice tight fit, especially for indoors. That way you won't get any leakage. So we're going to be putting this straight connector into there. What I found that helps things along a little bit is just to put a little bit of cooking oil on your fitting before you try to put it in. So I got a little bit of extra virgin olive oil here, and I'm just going to give it just a little spray like that, and maybe take some of the excess, ream it around like that, and then we're going to push this in, and it's going to go all the way in, right all the way to that rim right there. So you see, that's got to be in like that. Okay, so I just happened to lucked out here and got a table, an old antique table, mind you. It needs to be refinished, but nonetheless, it's an antique. And look how it's cut. It's cut to perfectly fit these two 20-gallon barrels. That's just so awesome. Not only that, check this out. I have no idea what the function of these was originally, but I know what I'm going to be using these for right now. I'm going to have a hose on this one, and it's going to be wound up on there. And I have another hose on that one, and it's going to be wound up on here. Okay, so I got all the basics done in the grow room. I've got my two barrels up on the old table. Got my linoleum pulled up. I see it's overlapping a little bit on the baseboard. If any water happen to spill or anything like that, it doesn't get onto your carpet. And of course, protecting your house is important. It's your investment. It's your future. You want to get the most out of it when you sell. So, you know, doing things like hanging the white plastic up and putting the linoleum down, and maybe just, you know, putting up this 2x4. And you see there's only 2 screws that hold that up there. And you see I got a little sponge in between, so that protects the ceiling. So when I take that down, there's going to be 2 holes. I'll just put a little polyfill on that, and we'll repaint. Everything will be just perfect in here. We'll put a bed in there, and nobody will ever know that it was used as a grow room, and that's important. There's a lot of stigma attached to that. But if you're a good grower, you do things right, and you keep things clean, so you don't have to worry about it, as long as you take the right steps. So that's what we're doing. So let's move on. I'm going to line up the pots on the floor, and let's have a look at what we're going to do.
Who has huge buds? You do. If you shop at BMA Hydroponics, attend one of BMA's educational seminars and learn the secrets of growing, harvesting, processing, and consuming quality cannabis and cannabis products. Learn how to make better extracts, edibles, and medicinal creams at prices you can afford. Visit BMA Hydroponics at 404 Maitland Drive, Belleville, or call 613-967-9888.
The only way to go.
So this is the arrangement. Over here, we've got 2 rows of 4 of the 5-gallon pots. That's going to be for the Stepwell. And then over here, we've got 2 rows of 4 of 3-gallon pots, and that's going to be for the Destiny. So the next step is going to be to fill these pots and see just how much soil they give you and if it's adequate. So Destiny says that it's a 4-plant package with 3-gallon pots. Here's the pots. There's 4. There's another 4. I have 2 boxes, so I think we're all good. Let's start filling pots. Okay, so we finished with the dark matter. See, it didn't quite fill them all the way to the top, and I'm pretty sure that's by design. The plants that I'm going to be putting in here are in 5-inch square pots, so by the time I get those transplanted in here, it's probably going to bring the level of the soil right just up to where it needs to be. So I think that's the perfect amount of soil from Destiny. Thank you, Destiny. Okay, so Stepwell's going to take a little bit different approach here. We've got the bale. I'm going to cut this bale. I'm going to see if it'll fill all 8 of these pots. I'm pretty sure they will. They're 5-gallon pots, equivalent to a 7-gallon plastic, and we'll see if one bale will do it all. So let's get busy on that. I'm going to make my standard H cut, which is what I like to do with all my compressed soils. The H cut just gives you a nice opening, and it gives you something to close it back up with too. So I can now take and just kind of spread that open, And when I'm done, if there's any left over, I can just fold it back up again. So let's get started filling some of these pots and just see how far they... Okay, so I took the better part of the bale of Stepwell, except I'm holding it with one hand now. It's probably, I'm gonna say a little more than 3/4 of it went into these bags. So yeah, you could probably get maybe 10 5-gallon, maybe 12 out of a bale of Stepwell. So that's about what you got now. As you can see, it's a lot dirtier. It's a lot more messy to work with the Stepwell. But you know what? That's nothing that a broom and a dustpan won't take care of. So we'll find out in the end whether it's worth all the work. But so far, I got to tell you, the aromas coming out of the Stepwell are pungent. Let's just say that. But it's good smells. It's the smell of organics, and these organics are going to come to life when we put that EM1. It's cleanup time. Here we go. Let's get this stuff cleaned up and get it ready to go. And here I go. This goes into the garbage or it goes out into the yard. Okay, so I want to go ahead and fill my barrels and give them a couple of days to sit before I actually do moisten these. So next step is to cut this tubing. So I'm using 3/4 inch tubing. Hey, look what I got. Yeah, they're big shears. I know they're for cutting off branches off trees. Normally I'd use a little pair of the hand pruners that you cut the little branches off trees. They work great for cutting tubing. I'll be darned if I can find those right now. You know, spring, you put everything away and sometimes you forget where you put them. So anyway, I'm just going to use these because they're going to work just fine. So here we go. First step, measure it out, cut it off. Okay, next step is to take the hose and we're going to just put it on there. First of all, I'm going to use my extra virgin olive oil just to give that a little, and a little, and that's it. That should do it. That's probably all we need. Maybe I'll just do a little spin around like that. And then we can take the tubing and just push it back to the wall there. You see how easy it slips on when you got the extra virgin olive oil on it, and just go all the way up in there. There. Okay, so that was pretty easy. It's on there now. This will never leak. 13/16 hole. Don't forget, 7/8 might leak. Okay, so next step is to figure out, how much we're going to need. I've tried to cut enough off it reaches all the way to the back wall. So when I go to water all these pots, I can reach everybody nice and easy. But what I want to do is I want to put one of these ball valves in line. So I'm going to come back a little bit, I don't know, maybe 18 inches or so, and make another cut with the shears. And then I'm going to put that ball valve in line. And then at the end, I'm going to use this to reduce it down to a 1/2-inch outlet so it doesn't come out too fast. Okay, so I would normally use 1/2-inch tubing here, but because of the nature of the barrels being so thick, the 1/2-inch grommets don't really fit well in there, so that's why I use the 3/4 feeder. But in the end, at the end, I will have a 1/2-inch outlet, and that'll restrict the flow. You won't get these as normal irrigation fittings, but you might find them somewhere like Home Depot, Home Hardware. Go to Home Hardware, it's your local hardware store, and there's locally owned. So my instincts are telling me not to put the outlet on the front, but rather on the side. It just kind of comes out nicer down, and you see I've got my petcocks in line, and there's my 1/2-inch end piece. Now I'm about to fill these barrels with water, so the last thing you want to do is leave this in the open position. So before you start putting water in, make sure you turn this thing to the off position, which is 90 degrees sideways like that. That's where it needs to be before you start filling. Don't forget or you'll have a flood. So this year I got smart. Still got the boogie filter up there, but I got smart. I took a lesson from Deb. No more hauling buckets over and dumping them into my other barrels. Now I got the hose hooked up. Yeah, and it's going all the way out here and right into the barrels, and then I don't have to keep hauling water. This just makes it so much easier. Get yourself a line hooked up and fill it directly from the faucet. Only way to go. So we've just about got the barrels all filled up. Got our lines run. No leaks down here. No leaks down here. Most importantly, right here, no leaks. Like I said, 13/16, no leaks. Okay, this one. Yeah, no leaks. Always check just to make sure there's no leaks and stuff. And always keep an eye on the level of your water if it's running directly in, because if you don't keep an eye on it, it's going to overflow. Don't want that to happen. So keep an eye on things. Always pay attention. Okay, done for today. It's been a lot of work. Got the pots ready, or everything's ready to go. All I got to do now is let this come to ambient temperature, add what I need to add to it, and get these things watered. Next step is going to be to plug in my starting material and make sure that everybody's identified. Rhizome pots come with these little tags attached. They tell you, some information about them, but the other side's blank. I'm going to use that to write on to identify which strain and which phenotype I'm growing in which one. And of course, I've got 2 rows Stepwell, 2 rows of dark matter with Destiny. There's going to be like pheno number 1 over here. There's going to be pheno number 1 over here. There's going to be clean chemo over here. There's going to be New York OG over here. So basically I'm going to make sure that everything's fair and it's an apples to apples comparison. So we've got phenotypes of the like phenotypes and strains on this side and this side. So in the end, we can measure exactly what the weight is, the height is, all those things, all the things that we like. Looking forward to seeing that result, and I hope you are too. In the meantime, that's it for today. I'm off to work for 2 more days, and it's a bit crazy out there, wearing masks and gloves and letting just one person through the door and shopping for them. It's a real experience. It's not like anything I've ever gone through before, but thank goodness I've got something like this to come back to and just relax and kind of enjoy my plants, because we all need to get away. Not everybody's able to isolate right now. We haven't been isolating. We've been on the front lines trying to keep people supplied and up and running. Crop failure for a medical cannabis grower is not an option. So we're there for them. We're there for everybody, cannabis supply chain, and we also are there with our clinics. So we're there for you. We're not isolating. This is not a vacation for us. This is go, go, go. And I'm doing all of this right in the middle of it. And now I'm going to have it overlap on my outdoor crop because of the delays. But you know what? That's okay. These are all just challenges that we need to overcome. We're going to overcome this one. We're going to get through this. We're going to get through COVID. We're going to get through all of our growing issues. And I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. And I'm upbeat about it. And I hope you are too. Good luck and stay safe.